Hey Mr. Cramer, is it time to buy? Yes, you're absolutely correct, son. It is time to buy you, Sean. It is time to buy. Mr. Cramer, the market kind of fell a lot today. Do you think I should hold? I think we're on the verge of depression, so time to sell. Jim Cramer. Chances are that if you're into the stock market, you've probably seen the face, heard the voice of the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Jim Cramer. So today, we're going to be taking a deep dive look into this misinformation and the lack of consistency with his thoughts and his ideas, and talking about how you could actually outperform the market by doing the opposite of what he says. Now, quick disclaimer. I watched Mr. Cramer when I was getting into the market. He doesn't give that bad of information. You know, some of his ideas are pretty sick. They make sense and resonate with people. But he's more of a person that just likes to make people feel good about their positions and then instantly just switch. So the first video we're taking a look at is his most trusted trading indicator. It's telling investors it's a great time to buy. And so this video was put out about a month ago. So if it's his most trusted indicator, man, he must be right. This must be the perfect opportunity to buy and add.
Used to be the S&P. Now it's put out by Market Edge. This is the source. I like to credit something that's so important in my thinking. This darn thing is so reliable that even in the midst of a bearish biological bond crisis, it allowed stocks to win the round. What does an oscillator do? It measures buying or selling pressure, and in particular tells us when the selling may have gotten out of control. When you are caught up in events, you may not actually know that things have gotten out of control. You're looking for totems, for benchmarks, for tokens, anything that makes you feel like, wait a second, things gotten too crazy. And that's why I pay for MarketEdge.com's oscillator.
So after what he said, you know, it kind of makes sense. You know, a trade indicator is something used by a lot of investors. And so he must be right? Obviously, he's not going to change his mind. Once he said that, yes, this is the good time to buy, obviously he's going to continue to stick with that, right? Definitely no more changing up his view towards the stock market. Foreshadowing. And I'll give it to him. He continues to stick to his word for another week when he releases another YouTube video saying stocks keep adding to your position into weakness. And look, man, he's definitely sticking to his gut, saying, man, this is the time to buy, and these are stocks you should be adding. Not to mention, even a month ago, this man's called a bottom a month ago. He said stocks are bottoming, and if he says it must be bottoming, bro, it must be bottoming. Obviously, Mr. Cramer can't be wrong, and the fact that he believes the stock market bottomed a month ago, you know, is definitely not going to change his opinion. I doubt he's going to take back from his words, lie to the people listening to him, right? He's not going to just screw them over. Well, next up, he says Wall Street must retest lows after President Donald Trump's rude awakening. Oh, Mr. Cramer, I thought you called the bottom. And see, guys, this is what happens when you listen to people online. You listen to me, but don't listen to Mr. Cramer. Going back on his word as usual, but wait until you see the rest. It just gets even crazier. In that same video that day, he also mentions that investors must be patient until Wall Street retests the March lows. But Mr. Cramer, weren't you calling a bottom? Weren't you saying that, hey, it's time to buy, it's time to pile into stocks a month ago when the market was still falling? Then, 2 days ago, Mr. Cramer uploads a video and says Wall Street is desperate for good news. Whew, coming from someone who's providing people with false good news a month ago when the market was crashing. And you see, this is why people should make decisions for themselves and not rely on information provided by others. It's good to take into account what a bunch of people are saying, but relying on one sole person like Mr. Cramer himself, that's not right. Mr. Cramer, if you're watching this video, which you probably are because I'm a banger YouTuber, and you're probably subscribed and liking this video right now like the rest of you guys, please don't provide false information. One thing I want to bring up is that these CNBC televisions have done such a good job in persuading and using propaganda to essentially convince the American people and the world people worldwide to max out their 401ks and put money into the market, that we've seen millions of people lose trillions of dollars while falling right off a financial cliff. Watch out for these false gurus and buy my course for $1 million, link down below. And now the absolute finale. We could be on the verge of a depression. Bro, what? He literally just said the market was going up and now he says we're going to a depression? What? Yes, sir. The man, the myth, and legend himself has finally spoken that we could be on the verge of depression. And I'm not going to argue with this. I actually think he may be right with this one. But the fact that he was telling people to buy and pile into stocks, bro, like, hold up a minute. That doesn't seem right. And the whole reason Mr. Cramer even does all this stuff is to promote not a course like we see these gurus on YouTube doing, but to promote his Actions Alert group for, I believe, a $15 a month fee. And now, if this doesn't seem like a scam, I don't know what is. He's making fat stacks from CNBC and his Action Alerts group. So for a man promoting a course just like people do on YouTube and promoting a group, I mean, what else could be worse? And now we'll be taking a look into his Action Alerts group and truly seeing, does it outperform the market? I'm going to be taking a look at a research report talking about how you could actually outperform the market by doing the complete opposite of what Mr. Cramer tells you. It's a real study, real science, real facts, real math. So in a paper published by Warren School at the University of Pennsylvania, so this is a big business school. If you go to Warren, bro, that's pretty sick. And Warren, if you're watching this video, man, can you please offer me a full ride scholarship? Please and thank you. So basically they published a paper where saying, well, they talked about that Cramer's Action Alerts Plus portfolio has in fact underperformed the S&P index in terms of total cumulative return since its 2001 inception. I mean, bro, what else proof do you need? And while the fund outperformed the index in the 2008 financial crisis, it hasn't done so well since then. In fact, it just rose 1.3% in 2014, whereas the S&P rose 11.4%. So you would have a better chance of making more money had you just put your money in the S&P index rather than listen to Cramer and his Action Alerts Plus group. In fact, over the past 15 years, if you were to put money into Cramer's Action Alerts group, you would have got a solid return of 64.5%, which honestly isn't bad. 64.5% is a pretty good return, but compared to the S&P, you would have got a massive whooping 70% return. The S&P went up over 70% during the 15-year period. So you have it right there. Who should you be investing in? Should you be trusting in Cramer or the S&P? It's simple, just the S&P would have beat him. And one more thing we want to take a look at is his past performance. This is his current stuff, but in the past, more than just his Action Alerts group failing to beat the S&P, in 2008, he tried calling the bottom of the market various times only to fail and cause investors to lose a ton of money. Not to mention, he said 2008 would be the year of natural gas, and looking at the chart of natural gas in 2008, ouch. That's all I can say. Ouch. Haha, another good day of scamming all these people. Another day of mad money. Another time of failing the market. At the end of the day, Jim Cramer is an entertainer, and he does his job pretty well of entertaining people. But the education value he provides isn't at the top of the list. If you just look at the multiple studies conducted, this man has underperformed the market for years and years and advised people on picking the wrong stocks and exiting and entering at the wrong points. Like imagine people who might have entered when he called the bottom a month ago, and now the panic they must be feeling when he says we're on the verge of depression. Oh damn, time to buy? Okay, time to buy, okay, got it. Oh my god, the market is falling. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? This man called the bottom. Alright, let's see what Mr. Cramer got to say today.
Honest with you, we could be on the verge of a depression, not a recession, but a depression if things don't go right. We just got the worst monthly employment report since 2009, 700,000 jobs lost. And that doesn't even cover the last 2 weeks where we had nearly 10 million jobless claims. The bad numbers are just beginning, which is why the averages got hit today.
We're on the verge of a depression? What? I just put my life savings into the market.